you've got a problem with first.
Right, so I don't know whether you were born a Muslim or you're converted to Islam, but you're told constantly, aren't you, that we know who brought the hadiths and we know who said what in the hadiths, right? So I'm going to show you something that disproves that.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to show you something that demonstrates that hadiths, even Sahih hadiths, have made up information.
Okay.
Right? And all you've got to do is just think like a reasonable person.
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah, me and you both know how the hadiths work.
Yeah.
Person A says to person B, says to person C, who says to person D, this is what I heard from Muhammad, or this is what Muhammad did, or it comes straight from Muhammad himself, i.e. he's in the chain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or it's one of the Sahaba, and it's like, what did the Sahaba do? So we don't need to go over information we already know.
Yep.
So in Sahih al-Bukhari, book 1, hadith number 7, it's the story of Heraclius. Do you know the Christian emperor Heraclius?
Yeah.
Do you know that story?
I think so. I think I
Right.
know what you're talking about.
I'm going to give a short summary version, but we can go. I've got the hadith, so we can dig into any part that we need to. So Sahih al-Bukhari calls in this emissary from one of the Arab
Sufyan.
tribes.
Is it Abu Sufyan?
Abu Sufyan,
Yes, I know this.
Calls him in, you know him, right?
Yes.
And he asks him a load of these questions about Muhammad.
Yeah, he's teaching.
And then he says, right, I think that's great. And he writes off to a friend, and his friend writes back to him. And then he goes, yeah, I want to convert. And he calls all the leaders of the Christian world together. And he says, I think we should all become Muslim. And they're all terrified and think that it's a horrible idea. They all run for the doors. And then he goes, no, hold on, guys, I was just joking. Everybody come back, right? That's the basic characterization of the story.
I don't know that part of the story.
Yeah, it's here. But here's the thing, okay? Let's be, right. Right, bear with us. Going on. I think it's, Right, so it says, the sub-narrator adds Ibn an-Natur was the governor of Ilya. Right, so that's just a bit of information of who the governor of Syria was. And Heraclius was the head of the Christians of Sham. Ibn al-Natur narrates that once, while Heraclius was visiting Ilya, he got up in the morning with a sad mood. Some of his priests asked him, actually this is the, where are we? It's the letter I want to talk about. It's the letter where he sends, let me just find it. It's a massive hadith, you know how long it is.
I think I got the wrong one actually. I think the one I have.
The one you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe.
You know of Heraclius and the...
I've heard of it. I just I'm not. I don't think I know it in detail.
Do you know who
Right, shall we just read through the story and we'll talk about the problems in the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go through it systematically.
Sure.
So Abu Sufyan bin Harb informed me that Heraclius had sent a messenger to him while he had been accompanying a caravan from the Quraysh. They were merchants doing business in Sham. At that time, when Allah's messenger had a truce with Abu Sufyan and the Quraysh infidels. So Abu Sufyan and his companions went to Heraclius at Ilya. Heraclius called them in court and he had all the senior Roman dignitaries around him. He called to his translator who, translating Heraclius' question, said to them, who amongst you is closely related to the man who claims to be a prophet? Abu Sufyan said, I am the nearest and relative. Heraclius said, bring him, Abu Sufyan, close to me and make his companions stand behind him. Abu Sufyan added, Heraclius told his translators to tell my companions that he wanted to put some questions to me regarding that man, and that if I told a lie, they should contradict me. Abu Sufyan added, by Allah, had I not been afraid of my companions labeling me a liar, I would not have spoken the truth about the Prophet. The first 3 questions about him was this, right? What was his family status among you? Then he asked another question. Has anybody amongst you ever claimed the same? The answer is no. He said, was anybody amongst his ancestors king? The answer is no. Heraclius asked, do the nobles of the poor follow him? The answer is yes, in essence. He said, are his followers increasing or decreasing? The answer is increasing. And then, does anybody amongst those who embrace his religion become displeased or renounce the religion? And the answer is no. Yeah. Right? And then he goes on, Heraclius, have you ever accused him of telling lies before his claim? The answer is no. Does he break his promise? The answer is no, he doesn't, he keeps his word. Have you ever had a war with him? The answer is yes. Yeah. And then it goes on, that sometimes we win, sometimes they win, and then it goes on. And what does he order you? And he says to pray, to speak truth, to be chaste, to keep good relations. And then Heraclius asked to convey to me the following. I asked you about his family, and your reply. And then he sort of re-summarizes the answers, right? Now, my first problem.
Can I just ask you a quick question? Are you filming?
Yes. Okay. My first problem with this hadith, right, is that you know and I know that after this conversation, Heraclius thinks he should become a Muslim.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the problem with this is that presentation of Heraclius contradicts everything we know about Heraclius in history. Right.
I don't know about him.
So, firstly, we know that he was an emperor of Rome.
Yeah.
We know that he led the first Christian crusade against the Persians and the Zoroastrians to recover the cross, right? We know that he was a deeply religious man. So, for instance, when he went out on this crusade, he went out in sackcloth, carrying an icon, a Christian icon, and he commanded all the churches to pray for his victory. That even on campaign, he opened up the Bible to help him decide his strategy in war, right? That he had a mobile chapel, a tent chapel, accompanying him on his campaign to war. So this is a deeply religious man, right? Whose position as Emperor of Rome is dependent upon his acceptance of Christianity, right? If he had rejected Christianity, he would have been executed. He wouldn't be emperor, right? That's just how the Roman world worked at this time, right? Now, my point to you is, this hadith is trying to tell you that after a couple of questions, that was enough to convince this emperor with everything to lose and nothing to gain to abandon a Christian faith that he had literally fought for and risked his own life to defend. Now, do you think that it is reasonable to think, bearing in mind what I'm talking about when I talk about the real Heraclius, is based out of Roman documents about Heraclius, whereas this is a hadith that came 200 years later, in a completely different country, written by a people that never ever met Heraclius at all. In a context in which those people that wrote this hadith were fighting against the Christians and had large Christian populations under their control. Now, what do you think is more likely? That this is a bit of propaganda to try and demoralize Christians, or that this is real history where someone, an emperor with everything to lose and nothing to gain, who fought for the Christian faith, who practiced Christianity deeply and piously, based on those questions and answers, would decide, right, actually I've got the wrong religion, I need to change everything?
I would say, if to be completely honest, I don't see a problem with him being a devout Christian and him kind of investigating the character of Prophet Muhammad and then deciding that he could be a truthful man. We know for a fact he did not convert from but like what I want to say is, at least because we know a lot of people also fought for Islam and then they kind of apostatized. So fighting for something, I don't see it as necessarily something. The only thing I would see is that he probably has nothing to gain from it or everything to lose. But that's still, I don't see that. If someone sees genuine, say, truth in something, then maybe he just has it in him to kind of follow that over the losses and gains. Right,
but the thing is, social losses and gains are real things. Like if you, for instance, were to turn around to your family and say, "I'm going to become a Christian," do you think that would be well received?
No.
Do you think there might be consequences?
Yeah, there will be one, yeah.
And do you think that those consequences give you pause for thought about becoming a Christian?
Not as much as not that much, to be honest. I don't want to like.
Well, I think in my experience, right, and this I think is true, that there'd be a lot more Muslims becoming Christians if it wasn't for the fact that there's an apostasy law in Islam.
Well, it's not practiced like in most countries.
Which is slightly separate from the point I'm making. What I'm pointing out to you is that where there are real social consequences, right? And bearing in mind he's emperor, his entire position as emperor of Rome, and by the way, he achieved becoming emperor through his own efforts. Like he dethroned an emperor to become an emperor.
was a battle.
Right? So he wanted to become emperor. Right? Now you've just got to think about the psychological picture that we have of Heraclius in history versus the psychological picture of this man, this fictional Heraclius. Because the real Heraclius desired to become emperor, wanted to become emperor, put things in motion to become emperor, and did so with deep piety in his religion, so much so that he fought the first religious war that the Christians ever fought to recover a piece of wood, the Holy Cross, from the Persians. This is not a man that's going to give up his faith in 2 minutes.
Well, clearly he's heard of him, doesn't he?
He's heard of Muhammad, yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know much about him, does he?
Yeah, not much.
Not much, because he's asking these questions are really basic.
Yeah.
Does anyone? Does he come from a royal family? No. Is it the poor people that follow him? Yes. Do people who embrace his religion leave? No.
He doesn't really know about it.
So this is not much to go on. These questions and answers are not really much to make a big decision on. But Heraclius in this story is meant to then go up to the entire Roman elites and go, "Hey guys, we got the wrong religion. Let's all
Does it say
change."
that? Does it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you. Right, bear with us.
Yep.
So he goes on. Bear with me.
I think that's the end of it, isn't it?
No. So this is what Heraclius says, right? Abu Sufyan then added, when Heraclius had finished his speech and had read the letter which Muhammad supposedly sent to him, despite him being illiterate.
Yeah, people write it for him.
Yeah, there was a great who told what? But here, An-Nata is narrating something that you can see for yourself had to be told by someone else, and that someone else is not in the chain of Isnad.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Do you get why that's a problem?
Okay.
Why is that a problem?
Because it doesn't say where he got it from.
And what do you get told about the hadiths?
Well,
what do you get told about the hadiths? That every single person in the chain is who told what to who. But here we have an example in the story that An-Nata could never have known. And so your instinct is to go, well, someone else told him. Well, who was that other person? Who was he in the Isnad chain?
Can you go to the? Because sometimes in the Arabic one they mention things they don't mention in the English one.
Right. Yeah, we know that. But let's go on, right? So my point is, how does this An-Nata know that Heraclius woke up in a sad mood? How does he know what the priest asked him? Heraclius was a foreteller and an astrologer, he replied. At night, when I looked at the stars, I saw that the leader of those who practice circumcision had appeared. How does An-Nata know that Heraclius said those words? Those are words that have been put into the mouth of Heraclius. How does An-Nata know Heraclius said those words? Yeah? Good point. Really good point. Right, it goes on. Those who practice circumcision had become the conqueror. Who are they who practice circumcision? The people replied, so this is actually a conversation. Actually, it's a conversation. The people replied, except the Jews, nobody practices circumcision, so you would not be afraid of them, the Jews. So how does An-Nata know this conversation between the priests and Heraclius is going on? How does An-Nata know that?
I want to go back to the Arabic. Because there's a lot of change.
You know.
Yeah, there is a lot. We can go to the Arabic.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Right, we will.
I just want to see if there's something missing there.
Yeah, but would you agree that in the English we can clearly see a problem? An-Nata is claiming to have access to information that he could not possibly have known. And the only way that he could known it is if someone told him, but the person that told him isn't in the Isnad chain.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Is that a problem for a hadith?
That's fair enough.
Is it a problem for a hadith?
Yeah.
Is it a problem for a Sahih hadith?
Yeah, I would say so.
Now, doesn't it demonstrate, right? And we will go to the Arabic. I promise you we will go to the Arabic. I definitely will. But I want to land my point.
Yeah.
But you're told that you can trust Sahih al-Bukhari because he checks everything. He checks each person knew the person before him, who knew the person before him, who knew the person before him, and that each person in the chain was 100% honest and 100% reliable. And what we have is clear fiction. What we have is a clearly made up story. Or alternatively, what we have is an isnad chain that is not secure. But either way, you've got a problem with your hadith.
Okay.
And that means you've got a problem with Sahih al-Bukhari. And how important is Sahih al-Bukhari to the understanding of the Quran? And the thing is, if Sahih al-Bukhari allowed in a piece of fiction here, how do you know he hasn't allowed in other pieces of fiction? Because remember, this isnad chain connected to this hadith is supposed to be 100% reliable. But it's not, it's clearly fiction.
Okay. Yep.
Right? But that means that how can you trust all the other isnad chains? How do you know that they're not also fiction? Do you get my point?
Yeah, I get your point.
Now, I promised you we go to the Arabic. So if you can find the bit in the Arabic that's connected to this, yeah, you tell me what you see in the Arabic. Here's the Arabic. I obviously can't read Arabic. No, I'm going to hold my own phone, but
No worries.
you feel free to move it up and down as you need to.
Well, there it is.
So we're looking for the bit where Heraclius wakes up in a sad mood.
Yeah,
And he talks to his priests.
It's talking about the letter so far.
There, so it's just beneath the letter. It's just after the letter. When he reads the letter, he wakes up in a sad mood, Heraclius. Then he talks to his priests and he says, "Hey priests," like, and it says that he's an astrologer.
Yeah, there it is. It says who narrates here.
Who narrates it?
Ibn al-Nadur, who is a companion of Ilya and Heraclius, what's his name again? The emperor.
So you're telling me this guy was in the emperor's chamber when he woke up in a sad mood?
He's the Ibn Nadur is the companion of Ilya and Heraclius as a priest of the Christians in Sham.
Right.
And he narrates the story.
So firstly, that's not in English. That's an interesting thing. But secondly, you're saying to me that this priest, who was this priest? Tell us about this priest.
The priest is apparently a companion
Of
the Heraclius and Ilya. I don't know who Ilya is.
Right. Okay. And he became a Muslim?
I don't know.
Is he in the Isnad chain?
Clearly he is.
Okay, let's look at the Isnad chain then.
Not here.
Let's,
in English, it's not there. We're seeing it's not there.
but we can pull up the Isnad chain. What's his name again?
I forgot.
Do you want to go back? Because the narration chain is here. Let's go find his name again.
The original narration chain, is the original one at the very top. I don't think that you're gonna find it there, but
Right.
because it's in the middle, isn't it?
So who is this priest then? Who is this priest? Because I think this priest is a fictional character. What's his name?
قال ابن الناظور. No.
Is that Ibn Nata that I was saying? Maybe I'm mispronouncing his name.
Maybe, yeah, I think that's it.
Because Ibn Nata.
Natur,
Yeah, Natu.
Yeah.
So you're saying this priest became a Muslim?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying just who he is. I don't know who he is.
Right. Let's look at the Isnad chain. Let's just see what. Oh, I've gone past it. Oh, rubbish.
I think you have.
Yeah, I have. Right, let's go to this one. Narration chain. Right, where is his name? Here. Well, you see, he's not in the narration chain here.
Yeah, because I think this is the original one. It's the one at the top. It's not the.
Right, so let's go right to the top. Let's go right to the top. Let's go right to the top in the Arabic. So the narration chain is in the top, yeah?
Yeah.
So where is it?
Yeah, he's not there.
He's not there.
He's not at the top. He's in the middle. That's what I told you.
So he's not in. So my point to you is this, right? You're saying that this person narrated it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep reading, because you're going to see that even that doesn't rescue this. Even that doesn't rescue this. Okay. So Ibn Natu.
Yeah.
Is where have we got him? Let's get back to him.
It's long. It's very long.
Yeah, Ibn Natu. Where is he? Yeah, convey. It's down here further. As I say, Governor of Basra founded. Contents. No. Yeah. O people of the scripture, Abu Sufyan, and then it's the sub-narrator, yes, Ibn an-Nater. Is that
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
that's the guy.
That's probably the guy. Yeah.
Right, but he's not at the top of the hadith in the Arabic, and he's not in the English narration chain. When I say he's just mentioned in this story,
Yeah, because
so he's mentioned in the matin, but he's not in the isnad chain.
Yes, because you know what the isnad is. The isnad is who tells the original story.
Right,
Yeah.
but the isnad chain, he's not there. We looked at the isnad chain.
Because you know what the isnad.
So he's
is
just in the
original.
matin. The matin is the content of the hadith. The isnad chain are the narrators. And what we're saying is that he's not mentioned in the isnad chain. So in other words, it's just a story. This Ibn Natu doesn't exist. He's not in the...
I'll tell you, if I read that, even without you shedding light on these things,
Yeah.
I would certainly understand, because these things are kind of more of a
Right. Let's
general rule. But I
press
would
on.
understand that what we know to be authentic is
Yeah.
is the part where Abu Sufyan is kind of with the emperor, but
Yeah.
the second part
Yeah.
I would not be so sure. But that's understandable from kind of.
Right. So,
be honest.
I want to keep going. Okay. Because if the thing is, if a name just appears in the matin, but it's not in the isnad chain, then for me that isn't good enough. You're told that it's about the isnad chain, so
Yeah.
I need you to show me in the
we-
isnad chain.
What I'll tell you is I'll tell you something, because there's a little bit of difference in detail.
Yeah.
What the isnad is, Abu Sufyan is telling this. Abu Sufyan heard this. That's what the isnad is
Yeah.
kind of for. So Abu Sufyan is kind of heard this, but we cannot. Whoever told him this story is
Yeah.
the thing that's in question.
Right. Here's another problem. Right.
Yeah.
It says. Let's continue to read, because I think this hadith is clear fiction, and I'm trying to demonstrate to you why I think it's fiction.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Part of that reason is that it's claiming knowledge that it can't possibly have. Part of that reason is because it's relying on people that aren't in the isnad chain, and thus demonstrating that your isnad science is not what it's made up to be. Yeah.
No,
Part of it is that it doesn't reflect who Heraclius was in history. So I'm building a case why I think this is fiction.
For you're building a case for kind of isnad in general, but this is kind of a different scenario. This is like a different case, I would say, especially with the Ibn Nadur kind of
Right.
with the thing.
Nadur. Is that how you pronounce it? Am I pronouncing his name wrong? Yeah.
Nadur.
Nadur. I must be pronouncing his name wrong. Okay, so while they were discussing it, a messenger sent by the king of Ghassan to convey the news of Allah's messenger to Heraclius was brought in. Having heard the news, Heraclius, ordered the people to go and see whether the messenger of Ghassan was circumcised. The people, after seeing him, told that Heraclius he was circumcised. Heraclius asked him about the Arabs. The messenger replied, Arabs also practice circumcision. Okay? After hearing that, Heraclius remarked that the sovereignty of the Arabs had appeared. Heraclius then wrote a letter to his friend in Rome, who was as good as Heraclius in knowledge. Who knows that and how?
Yeah, because
Who knows that and how? Because now this is a private correspondence. This is not happening at the same time as the conversation. He says, because it clearly says that then wrote a letter to his friend in Rome, who was as good as Heraclius in knowledge. Heraclius then left for Homs, a town in Syria, and stayed there until he received a reply of his letter. Who's giving you that information?
I'm gonna have to keep seeing who told who.
Do you know what I'm saying? This is like the story, if it's to be believed. Heraclius is sending a private correspondence to a friend, and a friend is sending private correspondence to him, even after Heraclius has buggered off to Homs. Right?
Yeah.
And the hadith is claiming to know the contents of the letter. How?
Like I said, I have to go back, keep seeing who told who and who said what.
Right, can I give you a suggestion?
Yeah.
This is a lie. This is a fictional story that was made up when the Muslims were fighting the Romans, the Christians, and it was designed to lower the morale of the Christian populations inside Muslim-controlled territory. It was a lie designed to bolster the confidence of the Muslims. It was just propaganda. Now, you know and I know that when, I forget which way this goes, like when was it the Umayyads that overthrew the Abbasids, or the Abbasids who overthrew the Umayyads? I always get these two mixed up. I think it was the Umayyads that overthrew the Abbasids. Right?
I don't know.
Right, but if you know anything about the history, when that flip happened, lots of spurious hadiths were created to legitimize one group over the other. Are you aware of that?
No.
Lots of fake hadiths were made up.
I'm not aware of it.
Go and look into it.
Okay.
Right? This hadith is a lie. It's a piece of propaganda just like all the other hadiths that were the fake ones that were made up by the Abbassids against the Umayyads or by the Umayyads against the Abbassids.
Do you know when this happened? Like this whole the Umayyad and...
Yeah, it happened, what, like 100 or so years after Muhammad?
Okay.
Yeah? My point is, it is a historical fact that Muslims made up hadiths. Surely you must know that. That's why you've got Daif.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a historical fact that Muslims were making up hadiths, and we have good reasons to see that this is a made-up hadith.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I don't know. I would say I would investigate into it.
Right.
There's...
Okay, we're going to land because I can see that you're listening carefully and you need to go away and do your research. That's totally fine. Come back, talk with me and the brother again.
No worries.
Right, let's go get a coffee. We'll talk about what your findings are.
All right.
But my point to you is, when you do your own honest research, you discover that this hadith is indeed most likely fiction, then it has ended up in a Sahih hadith collection with a supposedly trusted isnad, and it is clearly a lie, which means Sahih al-Bukhari ain't so Sahih, and if one lie can enter into the Sahih collection, other lies can enter into the Sahih collection as well. So that was what I wanted to show you. Go away, do your research. I really appreciate you being a very honest communicator and dialoguer. So come back and talk to us again when you've done your research, but be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, don't deceive yourself to win an argument. It only benefits you to be in the truth. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Even if the truth leads you out of Islam, it only benefits you to be in the truth. Yeah? And truth is more important than family. Truth is more important than acceptance by a community. Truth is more important than security.
I agree.
Right. Now, so that was what I wanted to show you about the hadith problem. So now we'll come over to what your problems are about the Bible.